first thing they went to do is construct our breastworks here. Now you put this wall up before you start piling the soil against it. So this gives you a backbone for your fortification. Now we have a volunteer build this, and so he's edited it over the years. It's constantly changing, and it would have been changing during the siege. There wasn't a standard fort. So everybody's building them differently. The engineers all have their own sort of signature. And as things deteriorate, they may come up with better ways to do it. For example, you see they look like wicker baskets. They're called gabions. Well, our gabions have been falling apart, and so our volunteer has been replacing them with things like sandbags and that kind of thing. And so, also this is a sample size fort. So in our sample size fort, we have one gun and one mortar, instead of 5 or 6 of each. Now, this is called a gun or a cannon, and this is a piece of field artillery. This is the most common type of artillery that had been used in battle up to this point. It's used on the field, carried by horses, and you use it to take down structures, basically. A cannon can fire farther than a mortar can. A cannon fires sort of faster and straighter, and it's real good for taking down walls. Now, during a siege, if you do damage with a cannon, the enemy's just going to rebuild their wall in the middle of the night. So the cannon's not really that useful. It's not an anti-personnel weapon. It's mostly against structures. What becomes very common out here in Petersburg are these mortars. Now, the range isn't as far as a cannon, but their nature is completely different. They're made as anti-personnel weapons, and they're made to get behind things. So a mortar, it basically looks like a fireworks display. It shoots an exploding shell, that means the shell has a fuse on it, up into the air in an arc, and when it gets to a certain point in that arc, it explodes, and very heavy, large pieces of shrapnel rain down on your enemy. And so you can take out a lot of unsuspecting people with a shell from a mortar. And when I say unsuspecting, I would better say unprepared, because a mortar is not a surprise weapon. It's very slow firing, and it announces itself. You see, it's shaped like a bell. And so when the shell comes out, it rings the bell, it rings the mortar, and you hear it. And you're a soldier, you've gotten used to the sounds of mortars. And so you'd look up and you would see the tail of that shell coming up into the air. It looks like a firework shooting up. And if that tail is going that direction, you're going to stand here, you're going to watch it, because you have a show. If instead you see it coming this direction, you're going to take cover. You're going to take cover in a bomb-proof. Our sample size fort has one bomb-proof. So you see that there.